Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi is briefing the media on the damage caused by an explosion in the Johannesburg CBD. Let's listen into what he has to say.
I also want to apologize because we gave the go-ahead to the team to go to brief you, but it's quite clear that we needed to conclude the task that was assigned to us so that we can come back and give you this briefing. So our apologies for keeping you waiting. We want to remove one fear immediately so that we can remove it from the discussions and the debates. Around 2 o'clock we got another call that there was an explosion in Bramfisher where one person died and another person got injured. Upon deep investigations by the police, we established that it was a private house and the explosion emanated from a heater. I'm not sure it's a gas heater. I just want to say heater because the element of gas is so we just want to remove it so that it must not cloud the discussions here. We've already sent our condolences to the family and we've asked our team to check the state of the person that was injured, and we wish that person a speedy recovery. Colleagues, as promised this morning, we want to update you on all areas that we committed to come back to you to update you. The number of fatalities still remain at 1. It's only 1 person. We have taken the fingerprints of the said individual. They are being assessed and analyzed, and the family members will then be notified. So we've got the fingerprints and we're using our electronic system to track the family of the deceased. Thus far, unless otherwise, we've not received anyone reporting somebody missing. Sorry, I had opportunity to visit the hospital today, and I met 4 of those that are still in hospital at Charlotte Maxeke. There were 2 that were in critical conditions. And our report still confirms that those 2 are still in a critical condition. Since our engagement this morning, you will recall during our engagement we indicated that we've got 12 that were still in hospital. The number is down to 8, those that are still in hospital. And the figure is still 48 as reported, the overall people that were injured. And the hospitals are still the same: Hillbrow, Southend, Garden City, Malberton, and Charlotte Maxeke. So we want to leave it there. The second area where we committed to assist you was to get the preliminary report on what caused the explosion. You will recall this morning we indicated that every institution that had anything to do with our underground network were pulled to come and check their systems. We brought a Egoli Gas, and they indicated that from their side, their systems are still intact. We brought the sewer team, we brought water, we brought Telkom, we brought Sosol, and as well as the electricity team. So thus far, they are still insisting that their systems are still intact. What has happened there does not come from their system. So subsequent to that, we then brought the Department of Labor, because it has experts that deal with this kind of things. They were led initially by Mr. Okay, we got a briefing now from Mr. Lisibe Rapela. Mr. Lisibe Rapela, and this is preliminary, good people. The Department of Labor indicates that the nature of gas when it explodes and what has happened here, it's similar to what has happened at Yeoville, what is known as Telkom Towers. They claim that there are similarities. And on the basis of that, there were three, they call them junction boxes. We normally call them manholes. There are three manholes that are an interest to their investigations. The explosion came through those three manholes. And the Department of Labor, they are of the view, and from their preliminary report, that there are certain institutions that they want to interview further. Even though they've given us the report that they've given us. But from the Department of Labor point of view, and also because of the similarities that they've observed from the Yeoville Telkom Towers explosion, they are of the view that they need to interview those that have already deposited their reports. And we've granted them that permission to say, go and interview them and finalize it. So they've accepted that, so they will conclude that aspect as quickly as possible. So this is the first preliminary report that we are having that indicates that the three junction boxes contributed to the explosion. And they've taken us through how the first box exploded, the second and the third, and they've analyzed the nature of the explosion, and they also feel that there is a gas that they still want to experiment so that they can tell us the type of gas that they are sensing that is responsible. And I hope Mr. Lisibe Rapela is still here in case we need to respond to further questions on this one. I didn't go deeper to their technical report. I felt that let me keep it that way. We can now confirm that the owners of all the cars that were affected there have been tracked, confirmed, and the motor vehicles handed over to them. This is very, very critical for purpose of claims of insurance and also for purpose of linking those that are injured to the accident scene, and also to finalize the necessary paperwork of determining many other regulatory requirements that are needed. So I want to thank the police that they've concluded that task, because we needed to remove those cars for us to go deeper and get the information. But if we have the information that satisfies us of what caused the explosion, we can also start to repair the road. So those cars were an hindrance, but they were also a source of attraction for pedestrians. So we needed to eliminate and remove that part as quickly as possible. So all the 34 cars that were recorded there, they've now been handed over to their rightful owners. Of the 34, 29 were minibuses and 5 were private vehicles. We've now concluded that task, and that task was done by the police. I've indicated that we've identified the deceased through 2 sets of fingerprints that were taken from the deceased And one set has been verified against the automatic fingerprint identification system of the police, and the other fingerprint was taken through the Department of Home Affairs fingerprint. So the two results, if they confirm that it's the same individual, then we will be in a position to sadly go and visit the family and break this sad news to the family. So we are waiting for that so that the confirmation from both sides should give us the same outcome. Because the manner in which we found this body that we are talking about, we felt that we might have to go back to the scene and establish that indeed we are certain that we can account for everyone. So the search and rescue dogs were then deployed to search for possible bodies and to sweep the entire area for exhibits. And thus far, we've not received any additional information that will change the statistics that we have at our disposal. What was the nature of this gas? Because the Department of Labor wants to go back and interview those that they feel that needs to give us additional information. When we were ready to come here, the information originally was saying it was natural gas. But when we received the information from the Department of Labor and the manner in which they were explaining their findings, we are reluctantly retreating that statement of natural gas so that we give them space to attend to the interviews and those that they feel that need to get additional information from them. So the angle, therefore, of our environmental team was
of course, the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi just giving us an update there on that current situation and a preliminary report, of course, of the explosion in the Johannesburg CBD. From what we understand, institutions were called in to be part of this investigation, if we can call it that. Igoli Gas, Telkom was one of them, Sasol as well, and some electricity institutions. But a very important fact that the Premier did mention earlier is that all of these indications shows that the nature of the gas explosion, or if we can call it a gas explosion, is similar. A similar thing that happened in Yeoville at the Telkom Towers, that explosion that took place there as well. He mentioned 3 junction boxes or manholes that is of interest of this investigation. So definitely a very interesting development there. But of course, a probe is underway to just make sure that, you know, these institutions that are involved with this will definitely be giving the right answers as to exactly what took place there in the Johannesburg CBD.